Your reaction to the developments that we picked up in the last 30 minutes here.
I'm looking forward to learning what that evidence is. We still have a lot of questions that we as a nation are trying to get answers to, the family's trying to get answers to, as to what happened, who ordered it, who was there, where is the body now? And in the dialogue with Saudi Arabia, we have, it's related to finding out facts. We also need to confront Saudi Arabia on the fact that it doesn't seem like they're being truthful. They're not being upfront and honest. We also have to be cognizant of the fact that the rest of the world is watching. So when we get tested, American resolve gets tested, other nations are watching how we react to it. So if Saudi Arabia, if all of the facts line up and they were responsible for what took place at that consulate, you don't want other nations to be feeling emboldened to carry out attacks like this as well. And it's a similar point to what we saw in the UK, where Russia used an agent that is in violation of an international treaty, where the world, the United States, the UK, other nations took actions and sanctions against Russia. We need to get to the bottom of the facts first and foremost, but when we move past it, we need to be cognizant not only of dealing with what took place here, but also understand that the rest of the world is watching and we can't have other nations emboldened by it.
Which is why we have seen such a strong response already. We just played the sound from Lindsey Graham from this morning. You just heard from the former ambassador to Saudi Arabia. And here's Marco Rubio responding to, if they did this, here's what happens to our relationship going forward. Senator Rubio.
I think the bigger issue here becomes the role they play in our Middle Eastern strategy. And the administration, and I think wisely, that had built them as a key linchpin against Iran and their ambitions and their expansion in the region. That's endangered now. If they did this, it makes it impossible for us to work with them closely in the short term until something's done about it.
Agree with all that, Congressman?
Yeah, there's a huge trust issue right now. I don't believe what Saudi Arabia would be telling us on key items right now. They can't tell us the truth here on what took place and with the entire world watching just over the course of the last few days. So in working with a partner, whether it is a friend of our country or our greatest adversary and many in between, I would say that our relationship with Saudi Arabia takes a hit because we can't trust that Saudi Arabia is going to be honest with us on some of these other issues. Now, Saudi Arabia does have an important role to play in combating Iranian aggression in the Middle East. They have an important role to play with regards to, related to that desire to combat Iranian aggression. They and other nations are looking at Israel more friendly. So, hopefully there's a path forward, but we can't look 3 steps ahead. To that point where we just don't have accountability, justice, truth, and honesty for something very wrong that took place, and it also is in violation of our ideals and what is right in this world, because you have a journalist who is speaking out against serious violations of their own government, and whether it's the United States, Saudi Arabia, or anywhere around the world, when you have that truth to power to bring a better future for your people, you should not be losing your life as a result in the worst extreme. So we need to send a very strong message from that standpoint to protect the right of the media speaking out and accountability against human rights violations and more.